for today's quick shot of Sips, Suds, and Smokes.
Hey, welcome to this very special edition of Sips, Suds, and Smokes. This is a quick shot edition where we actually have gone back to an episode that we recorded 5 years ago on talking about the famous cocktail, the Mint Julep. And we have come up with a couple of other recipes over time. A few people have been talking a little trash to us, and we thought we would come and refresh a little bit of our episode here. You're going to get to hear the first original episode for about the next 9 minutes with two recipes, the classic Mint Julep as well as the perfect Mint Julep. Joining me for this discussion is good old gal Cary.
Hello.
And this is good old boy Mike. We'll let you enjoy the first episode, first 9 minutes first, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about these other two new recipes from a couple of the contenders, as well as our taste-off for all of these recipes as well. So, without further ado, here is the classic Mint Julep from Sips, Suds, and Smokes. Ah, yes, you've heard the call. Now it's time to head to the races because guess what? Oh, yes, it's Derby time here on Sips, Suds, and Smokes, and that means it's all about the perfect drink. And I'm talking one of the classics, a Mint Julep, and this episode of Sips is all about making the great Mint Julep. So as you're reflecting here on hearing my old Kentucky home being played, let us tell you about the classic Mint Julep. Oh yes, it's all about the pomp. It's about the circumstance. It's about the temperature. It's about all of the naked chicks in the infield that you're standing in. Alright, so here's all the ingredients of making a classic Mint Julep. First off, the vessel. It's all about a pewter cup. Strange, but you'll need a pewter cup. The bourbon. We're talking Maker's Mark. Oh yes, I know this is in great dispute in many circles, but we just think Maker's Mark is all about the classic Mint Julep. You're going to need some sugar, about 1 to 2 ounces of granulated sugar. And of course, if you're going to make a Mint Julep, you got to have mint leaves. So it's going to take about 10 Mint Juleps per glass. And of course, it's all about the pomp, the temperature, and the circumstance. So this is what you're going to do. First off, it's all about the pomp. Take the pewter cup, drop some mint leaves in there, add 1 to 2 ounces of sugar, and muddle the mint leaves together. Don't crush, don't shred, muddle the mint leaves. Of course, it's hot and it's all about the temperature, so add some crushed ice about 3/4 of the way up the cup. And of course, it's about the circumstance. Add 3 shots gently over the ice. And of course, as the day wears on, gently will completely fade away. Add a sprig of mint on top and add a straw all the way to the bottom. You know, a bar straw actually works best. Sip and enjoy. And of course, you're going to enjoy the races. So let's hear the call now from Paul Rogers.
Closing argument, followed after that by a Fleet Alex, who has gotten clear and has got into the figure race up front. We get Bandini, who's fading badly. Moving up on the outside now comes Coin Silver with Buzzards Bay. 3/4 a fast 109.59, and it is Closing Argument who has taken the lead. Closing Argument with Bellamy Road coming on the outside. Buzzards Bay and High Fly is right there, tightly bunched as they turn for home. Bellamy Road is right there along with High Fly. Closing Argument is along the rail. Here comes also, right through on the inside, High Fly. And now Closing Argument pulls out with the narrow lead. On the inside is a Fleet Alex coming with him. Closing Argument and a Fleet Alex, and also gaining now Giacomo. We come to the wire, and Giacomo, I believe, got up to get it in the last minute with Closing Argument and a Fleet Alex in third.
Of course, right about now, you're asking yourself, possibly, could the day get any better? Could the races get any better? Frankly, could this broadcast get any better? Here at Sips, Suds, and Smokes, we have the perfect Mint Julep for you. Okay, so we don't have all the pomp, the circumstances, but frankly, this drink is so good, you won't really care. So let's talk about the ingredients here. First off, you're going to need some sugar, but you're going to need 2 different kinds of sugar. 1 ounce of granulated sugar and 1 ounce of powdered sugar. Of course you're going to need mint leaves, but you'll want plenty this time around. Frankly, go and buy a big bushel full if you want, but you're going to need about 50 sprigs to add to the bricks, and then you're going to need some more to actually add to the drinks. And of course, it's going to be about the bourbon. Alright, so we've tried literally just 50, 60 different bourbons to find out the perfect bourbon to go in a mint julep. Man, we really hate our job some days. Alright, so we're declaring the perfect mint julep bourbon is going to be Woodford Reserve. Somehow, this just works. Don't ask us. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to prepare bricks. You're going to add 1 cup of hot water and 1 cup of sugar, and after all the sugar is dissolved, you're actually going to add in a handful of mint leaves, about 50. Let it steep. Chill out. Enjoy some bourbon straight up if you want to while it's steeping. We don't care. For about 15 minutes. Let the bricks cool down to about room temperature, and then actually pour it into a container, put it in the refrigerator, and you can store this actually up to 2 days in advance. So actually after you have your bricks ready, and you have your funny clothes on, and you're actually at the races, it's time to make the perfect mint julep. So, why don't you take a listen here to the call, and we'll tell you how to make the perfect mint julep right after that.
Stretch Sinister Minister now takes command. It's Sinister Minister and Barbaro. Barbaro with a quick burst of speed. Barbaro on the outside taking command. Sinister Minister drops back. Here comes Bluegrass Cat with a quick move. Top of the stretch in the Derby, and Barbaro draws clear. It's Barbaro in front, showing up is into second position. Bluegrass Cat is third, and down the stretch they come in the Kentucky Derby, and Barbaro is running away.
Literally one of my favorite calls in all of sports, and especially the one here at the Kentucky Derby, is down the stretch they come, and down the stretch you're going to make the perfect mint julep. All right. So we don't have one of those fancy pewter cups or anything. Frankly, we make ours in solo cups. So grab your favorite red solo cup and get ready to make the perfect mint julep. Fill the solo cup with crushed ice about halfway up. Add a couple of mint leaves. Yes, I know, add mint leaves. Then, right on top of the mint leaves, add some more ice till it's about 3/4 of the way full. Then right on top of the ice, you're going to actually add that 1 ounce of powdered sugar right on top of the ice. I know, you're packing it, but trust me, for some reason, all of this works to make the perfect mint julep. Now you're going to pour about 1 to 2 shots of that mint bricks that you made earlier right over the ice. Wait a minute, let it steep down to the bottom. Then pull out that Woodford Reserve bottle, pour 4 to 6 shots. I'm sorry, yes. That's a lot more than the classic, but guess what? It's actually a bigger cup as well, so pour it on. Frankly, as the day wears on, you won't really know whether it's 4 to 6 shots. You'll be pouring it straight from the bottle. Heck, you'll be drinking it from the bottle straight up. After you've poured those 4 to 6 shots in the cup, insert a straw, and actually 2 long, skinny Collins straws. They work really, really well. Garnish it with a sprig of mint. Dash on a little bit more powdered sugar. Look around, admire all the funny clothes that you're wearing. Make sure that you got some good-looking woman at your side or a good-looking guy. Sip, enjoy, and hope your horse comes in. This is good old boy Mike. I hope you have a perfect day and enjoying the perfect mint julep. Enjoy and keep on sipping. Hey, welcome back to the second half of this episode of our Quick Shot edition, talking about the classic mint julep. We have a couple of contenders here to talk about, have we really created the perfect mint julep? We have a couple of other recipes to go through, as well as some of our blind tasting taste-off here today as well. So Sparky is really quite innovative with cocktails, and he came up with a very interesting recipe that's posted on his blog, Parenting While Intoxicated. So his recipe for a mint julep is you actually make a strong Demerara simple syrup. It's actually 2-to-1. So normally simple syrup is 1-to-1, same amount of water as you have sugar. He actually made a 2-to-1, which means you have twice as much sugar as you do water in his. And some of it is in the preparation itself. He actually combines, I believe it is, I think he said 1 ounce of the Demerara sugar, as well as some mint leaves, probably 5 or 6, I'm guessing, as well as some crushed ice. And he actually muddles all this together. So it's sugar, ice, and the mint leaves itself that he melds together. And then he comes back around and double strains that into the serving cup itself, which is filled with crushed ice. Then he actually adds a different kind of bourbon than we've picked here before, which is actually Weller 107.
Fancy. Really
great choice. I mean, it's a fantastic bourbon. It's a wheated bourbon if you're not quite familiar with it. It's actually proofed at 107. That's why it's called Weller 107. Very interesting choice. No fancy elements in terms of garnish or doing anything else with the sugar. And so that's the other one that we have here in the mix. The other recipe is from our friends at LushUs podcast, and they have a rather interesting, it's called the Trashy Mint Julep.
Now, our last cocktail is like the international cocktail of Kentucky, which I don't know if that makes sense, but it is like Kentucky.
It totally
cocktail.
Doesn't, actually, but it sounded super cool.
Didn't that sound great? It sounded very wordy.
Totes.
The mint julep. People come here, and I will say at a bar, if I'm at a bar, a whiskey bar, and somebody orders a mint julep, I typically know they're either, number 1, don't typically drink, or number 2, from out of town. Because nobody in Louisville is usually ordering mint juleps, especially bourbon drinkers are not going to bars ordering mint juleps. So we always know. And because they like hammer the ice, a lot of the bartenders are like, I hate making mint juleps.
They're a pain.
But, yeah. So I do mine, and mine is not a pain.
Okay,
Are
good.
you?
I'm ready.
Yeah, mine is going to be the easiest, but I'm going to guarantee this. The very tastiest mint julep you have ever had in your God-given life.
Oh my God, I have
All
a
right.
pencil out. I am ready to write down this recipe.
Okay, so I'm going to start with a piece of candy that you're going to have to know, and hopefully they have these in Arizona.
Okay.
Have you ever had puffy soft mints? They sell them at like Cracker Barrel. They look like, like little Starlight mints, like the red and white mints.
But they're soft?
They're like, yeah, they're like
yes.
poofy.
Yes,
They
I've
like
had
melt
those.
in your mouth, not in your hand.
Yep. I've had those.
Okay, so you take one of those. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
You're going to use 2 ounces of bourbon, and this is actually a complicated recipe for me.
Uh-oh.
You're going to muddle that, or you're just going to kind of smash it around. Typically, I use the back of like the handle of a knife because I don't have a muddler.
Okay.
So you're going to bang that around, and it melts immediately. It really does. Immediately. 2 ounces of that, one little poof, and then I am going to pull out the blender and puree
What?
some ice. Yeah,
What?
I know. I'm telling you, it's the only way to do it. You're going to take that like ground up ice. You're going to pound it in. Now, some people are going to hammer. I'm not hammering. I'm telling you, I just have a blender. I'm going to push all that ice in that cup with the, bourbon. I'm going to put 2 ounces of water. I'm going to stir that bad boy up, put a straw in that, and you take a spoon even. Is so good. It's like a bourbon mint, like snow cone. Yes.
Look at that. Because one of the problems with making great cocktails on the fly is having fresh ingredients like fresh mint. Thanks to you, don't even need fresh mint. Don't even need it.
A gummy slice and an orange poof, and look, you got 2 cocktails already.
Just shove that in your bag and go, and then people are like, you're an amazing bartender.
Yeah, you really are going to have to make that. You're going to be amazed. Whenever I go to Cracker Barrel, do you have Cracker Barrels in Arizona?
We actually do, which is amazing.
Holy
We have like 4 of them
Toledo.
here in Phoenix. Because my family's from North Carolina, so going to Cracker Barrel was always like a thing, right? But we don't have them
Right.
out west, like in Washington, like where I grew up. No, but we have Cracker Barrel in Arizona, so I actually can go to the Cracker Barrel here. So I will go and steal some of them mints.
So those are the 4 recipes we have. We've gone through the classic, the perfect mint julep, the parenting while intoxicated recipe, as well as the luscious. So we've had all 4 of these in a blind tasting. Carrie Ann twice.
Had 'em twice.
Twice, now she says. So, first off, what do you think of the recipes in general?
Well, So 3 of the 4 recipes, it's hard to argue with a whole lot. One of the recipes is a little out there.
One of these things is not like the other.
It's like that. It's like that.
Mm-hmm.
But still, the balance.
There was a touch of sarcasm as he said,
Please, you should actually add candied mint in this.
I'm wondering if an Altoid wouldn't have been a better choice. It actually tastes like mint.
I think that's an excellent choice, yes.
I'd like a redo with an Altoid.
Yeah. So you're saying that the Trashy recipe, it was headed in the right direction, had a good train of thought.
No, I didn't say any of that. No, I tasted it and I thought this doesn't even remind me of a mint julep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so we tasted all 4 of these blind. First off, what was your top pick? Let's go from the top to the bottom. You want to go from the top of the bottom or the bottom of the top?
I like to go all the way around and then back again. But so the classic.
Welcome to the round world with Cary Ann today.
Hello. It's not a flat earth. The classic definitely was the one I picked without knowing who did what, minus had a pretty good suspicion of who put peppermints into a cocktail.
Mm-hmm. Well, you were watching me do a little bit of this, not a whole lot, so.
Really wasn't paying attention at all.
Yeah.
So,
but
I didn't know whose recipe belonged to who. So, yeah, the classic was the one that I picked out as tasting the most like a mint julep. It was just the best balance of the whiskey and the sweet and the mint.
I agree. It was really. I actually made all 4 of these recipes, and I really enjoyed the classic today. I thought it was quite good. It had really nice balance. It was a tad hot, the way I made it, but I just thought it was pretty good all the way around. What's your sips rating on the classic?
5.
And I'm going to join that as 5 all the way around.
Yeah.
What's your next favorite one?
I think mine just kind of work up. The perfect, I gave a 4.
Wow. So what was it about the flavor of the perfect mint julep that you liked or didn't like against the classic?
Well, I mean, for me personally, it was very bourbon forward, which I prefer.
Was. Right.
So there wasn't quite enough mint for me to give it a 5.
Well, I thought the perfect mint julep held well today. It has tons of flavor.
Yeah.
And when you make a Brix like that, so this particular Brix, I made with Demerara sugar this time around, and it actually made it weak. So it's actually 1 to 2. So it's actually the opposite. And I would say, and part of the reason why, because absolutely, this is a bourbon-forward rendition of the mint julep. And I think the reason why is I think most people are pouring heavy by the end of the day, and they really want enough sugar to be able to stand up, to the whole thing. So I just think that it held up pretty well. I would agree. I think it did really well, and our sips rating for the perfect mint julep is going to be a 4. At least in the rendition I made today. Probably if I had to change it a little bit on the fly, I probably would have used just a little bit less Brix than I used in the rendition today. It was a little sweet, I thought, for mine.
I was all right with the sweetness. I wanted more mint in it.
Interesting. All right. So we have 2 remaining, which is Sparky's recipe, as well as the LushUs. Which one do you want to talk about next?
That's the one I don't want to talk about. So we'll go with Sparky's recipe.
Uh-huh.
And I wanted more mint. It's the mint julep. It's the first word in the name of the drink. Give me some mint.
So I think part of the recipe that Sparky had is actually making a simple syrup and losing the opportunity to infuse it, with mint within the Brix. He still has infusing mint, at the point of actually making the drink. And I think that's kind of losing an opportunity to really kick that up. And I actually probably put a little bit more mint in his rendition than maybe I did some of the others. just because I was worried about that one, simple thing, just kind of looking at the ingredients themselves.
But again, I thought it was
Still
really
couldn't bring it.
balanced with the whiskey and the sweetness. I thought that part of it shined through, but I just wanted more mint.
I love the bourbon choice here. The fact that he went with a higher proof, with a 107 versus a 90 proof, as well as, Weller 107 itself is just an amazing product, May be a little difficult for many of you to find this. And so, that's kind of the only thing I'm a little shy about is coming up with a recipe that may not be able to find the ingredients for this, quite as readily. But the ones we had today, I thought it was really good. I thought it held up really well. The only thing I'm with you. I really thought that it just kind of, it needed a little bit more sugar and a little bit more mint. It just kind of, fell apart from a flavor profile perspective.
But I'm happy to drink Weller 107 all day.
And I think that's what you and I both thought. And we're probably going to actually end up rating it against the bourbon as opposed to the fact that it's a cocktail as well. So what's your rating?
Well, comparatively, I gave it a 3, but on the bourbon, I give it a 4.
4. And I'm the same way. I'm going to stick right there with giving it a 4 as well. And I think part of it is the bourbon choice here.
Yeah.
It kind of made up for some of the inequities within the cocktail recipe itself.
Yeah.
Which leads us to the point of the throwdown here of the LushUs. I've never had a red mint julep before. Pink.
It looks a little bit like Fireball.
Oh, interesting.
Or was it mouthwash?
Yeah. So I really found a bit of some of the process of making this drink just a bit more laborious. I don't know if for some reason the mints that I picked up just didn't quite melt in your mouth the way they were supposed to. They, I don't know. I just, it was a combination of just the simplicity of it.
No, it's still not good.
I had a difficult time going all the way around with this. So I give them props thinking about just the essential, flavor elements. And maybe if I was in a part of the country where I've never had a mint julep before, then I might look at this and go, well, that's different.
The other side of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
They don't have Cracker Barrels there either, though, so they're screwed.
I would say those people are cognitively challenged as well as most of the people in Alabama.
Roll Tide.
Banned once again.
Would think, oh, this is awesome, man. All right.
So here's what. I think that is not a mint julep.
And I have the exact same impression. What's going to be your sips rating on the LushUs?
I had a 2, but seriously, it's not even.
Yeah, and
1.
I'm going to knock it down because
Is it a
I'm going to
negative?
give it a 1 as well. Sorry, gals. Really enjoyed, the concept itself, but just didn't quite do it for us.
I love the idea of throwing a candy into some whiskey and making a cocktail. But again, I would choose an Altoid and not a peppermint.
There you go. To kick up the mint. I agree, yeah. Well, I think the only thing missing from this episode is a funny hat as well as some other funny clothes. So I would say that next time maybe you go with a mint julep throwdown, get on the gear, for sure. Well, I really enjoyed this conversation, and you should check out our weekly episodes anytime. They're all over the place. Hopefully you enjoyed this throwdown episode and a refresh of our perfect mint julep episode. Whatever you decide to drink while you're watching a horse race, we hope you enjoy it safely as well as often.
Safely and often.
Often and safely. Either one of those works. Keep your clothes on.
Just do it fast. Get it over with.
There you go. I want to thank my co-host for joining me for this episode, good old gal Cary Ann.
My pleasure as always.
You can check her out on her blog, Straight Up 615. Want to tell anybody about that?
.com.
Yeah, there you go. Well, this is good old boy Mike for Sip Suds and Smokes. Come back, join us for another episode here on Sip Suds and Smokes, and I'll ask you to keep on sipping.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sip Suds and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the good old boys, will see y'all next time.